In the ancient, frost-bitten north, where icy winds howled through wooden halls and the darkness of winter seemed endless, stories were woven around the hearth, tales of gods and giants, of heroism and betrayal. Among all these figures, one stands apart, enigmatic and unpredictable. Loki, the trickster, the father of monsters. His name evokes both awe and unease, a reminder that the divine is never purely good or evil, but often a shadowy dance between the two. Unlike the other gods of Asgard, Loki's origins lay elsewhere. He was not born to the golden halls of the Aesir, nor did he descend from the noble lines that ruled the heavens. Instead, Loki was the son of Farboti, a giant whose name evokes the crash of lightning, and Laufey, a mysterious figure whose talents and powers remain shrouded in myth. From the very beginning, Loki was set apart, not as strong as Thor, not as wise as Odin, but clever in a way that defied easy explanation. He could not command storms or unravel the runes of fate, but he possessed a mind as sharp as any blade and a gift for transformation that none could rival. It was Odin himself, the all-seeing, who recognized something in Loki, a spark of potential, a wildness that could be harnessed or at least contained. Odin and Loki became blood brothers, sealing their bond with an oath that neither could break. This pact brought Loki into Asgard, making him one of the gods. But he was always an outsider, forever straddling the line between their ordered world and the chaos from which he came. Loki's reputation as a mischief maker is legendary, and yet his tricks were never simple jokes. He was a master of disguise, able to shift his form at will, a flickering salmon evading capture in the river, a beautiful maiden who could entrance even the most wary, a mare of such allure that even the mightiest stallion would forget all else. Each transformation was a tool, a weapon, or sometimes an escape. One of his most notorious exploits began with a wager. When the gods hired a giant to build the walls of Asgard, they promised him the sun, the moon, and the beautiful goddess Freyja as payment if he could complete the work in a single season. The giant, aided by his tireless stallion Svadilfari, seemed certain to succeed. The gods, realizing their mistake, turned to Loki for help. And so, Loki transformed himself into a mare, luring Svadilfari away and sabotaging the construction. The plan worked, but Loki's schemes often carried unforeseen consequences. From this tryst, Loki gave birth to Sleipnir, an 8-legged horse, unmatched in speed and strength, who would become Odin's own steed. But Sleipnir was merely the most benign of Loki's offspring, for in the shadowed forests of Ironwood, Loki found Angerboda, a giantess whose power matched his own. Together, they brought forth 3 children, creatures so formidable that even the gods trembled at their names. The first was Fenrir, the monstrous wolf, whose jaws could swallow worlds. As a pup, Fenrir was kept in Asgard, watched over with a mixture of fascination and fear. Only Tyr, the one-handed god of war, dared approach him. But as Fenrir grew, so did the gods' unease. They forged the unbreakable chain Gleipnir, fashioned from the sound of a cat's footfall, the roots of a mountain, and other impossible things. With cunning words and false promises, they bound Fenrir, sacrificing Tyr's hand in the process. Bound but never broken, Fenrir's rage simmered, his destiny bound to the doom of the gods. The second child was Jörmungandr, the world serpent. Cast into the ocean by Odin, Jörmungandr grew until he encircled Midgard, biting his own tail, his sinuous body holding the world together. The mortals gazed in terror at the storms that marked his restless movements beneath the waves, knowing that one day he would release his tail and the end of all things would begin. The third was Hel, half living, half dead, her face divided between beauty and decay. Odin, seeing the threat she posed, banished her to Helheim, the land of the dishonored dead. There she ruled over the souls who would never reach Valhalla, her grip cold and unyielding, her authority absolute. Loki, then, was not merely a bringer of laughter or folly. He was the father of monsters, the harbinger of change. In a world built on order, where the gods maintained the cycle of seasons, the turning of the sun and moon, the balance between life and death, Loki was the necessary disruptor. His actions could be cruel, his jokes biting. But without chaos, there can be no renewal. Yet Loki's mischief was not always dark. Sometimes his cunning saved the gods from disaster. When Sif, the golden-haired wife of Thor, awoke to find her hair shorn by Loki's hand, Thor's wrath was terrible to behold. But Loki, ever resourceful, sought out the dwarves, master smiths of the underworld, and challenged them to craft treasures as a means of amends. From their forges came gifts that would define the gods: the hammer Mjolnir for Thor, the spear Gungnir for Odin, the ship Skidbladnir for Freyr, and more. Thus, through trouble and trickery, Loki brought greatness to Asgard. But the line between jest and malice is thin, and Loki crossed it when he orchestrated the death of Balder, the beloved son of Odin and Frigg. Balder, blessed with invulnerability to all things except the lowly mistletoe, was struck down by his blind brother Hooder, guided by Loki's whisper. The grief that followed was immense, and the gods' patience finally snapped. Loki, hunted and reviled, was captured and bound with the entrails of his own son. A serpent was hung above him, its venom dripping onto his face, racking him with agony. Only his faithful wife, Sigyn, remained, catching the venom in a bowl. But when she had to empty the bowl, the poison fell, and Loki's writhing gave birth to earthquakes that shook the world. Prophecy, however, foretold that Loki's punishment was not eternal. On the day of Ragnarök, the twilight of the gods, Loki would break free of his bonds. He would stand at the head of the forces of chaos, giants and monsters, the dead and the damned, and march against the gods of Asgard in one final cataclysmic battle. Fenrir would shatter his chains and consume Odin, the father of all. Jörmungandr would rise from the sea, spewing poison and battling Thor to mutual destruction. Hel would lead her legions, and Loki himself would face Heimdall, the vigilant guardian of the gods. Their duel would end in both their deaths, the world collapsing into ruin before, perhaps, being born anew. In these myths, Loki is not a villain in the way modern tales might cast him. He is not evil, nor is he purely good. He is the embodiment of transformation, the force that unsettles the established order, the spark of creativity that can as easily destroy as it can create. Without Loki, the gods would stagnate, unchallenged and untested. His presence brings out their flaws and their virtues alike. His chaos is the crucible in which greatness is forged. Even his children, monstrous as they may be, serve a purpose. Fenrir's hunger, Jörmungandr's encircling presence, Hel's dominion over the dead. Each represents a force that must be reckoned with, a truth of existence that cannot be denied or wished away. Fear, mortality, the inevitability of change. Loki's legacy ensures that the gods, for all their power, cannot escape these realities. The fascination with Loki endures because he mirrors the complexities within ourselves. Who has not, at times, felt like an outsider, misunderstood, underestimated, driven by motives that others cannot comprehend? Who has not seen their best intentions twist into unintended consequences, or watched as the boundaries between mischief and harm blur? Loki's story is a reminder that the world is not black and white, that chaos and order are locked in an eternal embrace, and that both are necessary for life to flourish. In the modern age, Loki has never been more alive. He appears in novels and films, his image shifting from villain to anti-hero to tragic figure. Children laugh at his cleverness. Adults ponder the moral ambiguities he represents. He is a god for uncertain times, a symbol of resilience and adaptability, of the power that comes from embracing one's own contradictions. Some see in Loki a warning that unchecked cunning and disregard for consequence can bring ruin. Others see a promise that ingenuity and courage can overcome the greatest obstacles. In truth, Loki is both. He is the laughter in the darkness, the whisper of possibility in times of despair, the knowledge that even the most dire fate can be met with a glint of defiance. As the fire crackles and the night grows deep, the tale of Loki lingers in the heart. He is the trickster, the father of monsters, the necessary shadow to the light of the gods. His story is not one of simple victory or defeat. but of the eternal dance between chaos and order, destruction and renewal. In the end, perhaps, that is Loki's greatest gift. The reminder that nothing in this world is ever truly still, that every ending holds the seed of a new beginning, and that even the most unlikely among us can shape the fate of gods and men alike.